Hello, I'm Chris.
And I'm Tova, and welcome to Chris and Tova's Amazing Adventures. Today we're going to be talking about Nicaragua travel guide, so things that you need to know before you travel to Nicaragua.
The US dollar is strong against the Nicaraguan Cordoba. You can purchase a lot of things locally cheaper in Nicaragua than you can in Canada and the US. There's lots of different modes of transportation you can go and have in Nicaragua. There's one thing called the chicken bus. It's basically like a school bus that um, it's kind of really decorated up really nice or weird. Multiple different colors, lights, almost like a Christmas kind of festive bus, we'll call it. Or
Yeah, they're very festive, and every driver decorates theirs differently. And that's their local transportation. So that would be their local bus. So if you're looking for a fun cultural experience, absolutely check out the chicken bus. It's super cheap, but do know that it's usually going to take a little bit longer to get
oh
to
yeah,
your destination. It's a bit of a milk run, and it's loud and it's crowded, um, but it's a really fun way to travel. So another way that you can get around or going to and from the airport is using the local taxis or the airport or tourist excursion shuttle services. So there's a couple companies that do shuttles to just a few locations like the airport and a few other main attractions. And then of course there's tons of local taxis that will take you wherever you want to go, and they are very, very affordable. So when you're traveling around Nicaragua, you definitely don't need to have your own vehicle. There's lots of local transportation, whether it's the bus or using the local taxi system. So if you're not interested in renting a vehicle, pay the money to use a taxi or a shuttle to get to or from the airport, and then getting around after that is quite simple as well, whether you're walking, taking the local buses, taking a taxi, or if you're booking a tourist excursion or an outing, there's always services that will get you where you need to go, and it's quite affordable. That said, you might want to rent a vehicle, and we've rented a vehicle a couple of times. It just gives you that freedom to travel everywhere and anywhere that you like. Um, we would recommend, though, if you're renting a vehicle, that you get four-wheel drive, like
yeah,
an SUV or a truck.
yeah. I think we paid $400 to $500 for 10 days.
It is safe to drink the water in most Nicaraguan major cities. However, it does have different bacteria or microbes than your water at home, and that can make you sick. Most locals prefer to drink bottled water, and many accommodations supply some bottled water for free. If you're looking for a hot shower in Nicaragua, make sure you check your accommodations before you book, because many places do not have hot water. That said, many American standard homes should have hot water for showers, but your kitchen sink or washing machine may be cool.
So electricity in Nicaragua can be expensive if you're a high energy user. If you run, say, one of those people that run central air in your house all summer long, that does not happen in Nicaragua. If you do, then you're paying a really high bill.
Lots of Airbnbs will have an energy usage policy built into the price. So they'll tell you you're allowed to use X amount of electricity, and if you go over that, then they're gonna charge you more to pay for your electricity. Don't let that scare you. You can have regular use.
So the number one thing that we constantly get asked and is talked about when we talk about Nicaragua is its crime. The crime is actually just petty crime. The violent crime rate is extremely low. I believe it's the lowest in Central America, and it is even lower than most major cities in North America, Canada, or the US. Violent crimes is very low. Petty crimes happen time to time. It's due to people not either protecting their possessions, carelessness, leaving your, say, wallet on the beach, out in the open. Someone will walk by and it will be a crime of opportunity.
Like anywhere, you need to use common sense, right? Like Nicaragua really is the safest country in Central America, but that doesn't mean that there isn't crime that happens there. But what you should know is that, like Chris said, the violent crime is lower than most places in the US. And in fact, the US has 12 times more violent crime than there is in Nicaragua. And the US and Nicaragua, they're about on par for all crime. So if they look at all crime together, they have about the same crime rate. So, you're not afraid to travel in the US, you shouldn't be afraid to travel in Nicaragua either. But keep your wits about you, don't flash money, keep your valuables locked up, don't be that crime of opportunity. And also that kind of common sense, especially if you were a female, single traveler, but just for everybody in general, don't walk in bad areas at night by yourself. I wouldn't do that in the small town that we live in. So I definitely wouldn't do that in Nicaragua or Costa Rica or the US or any other place. Locally, Nicaragua produces beef, pork, poultry, and a ton of fresh seafood, with their biggest seafood export being lobster. There's also no shortage of fresh fruits and vegetables in Nicaragua.
Nicaragua is one of the top coffee producers in the world.
Many major coffee brands such as Starbucks, Tim Hortons, and McDonald's source their coffee beans from Nicaragua and other Central American countries. Most Nicaraguan coffee is grown in the north-central regions of Jinotepe, Matagalpa, and Nueva Segovia. There's no shortage of great restaurants in Nicaragua, but don't pass up the opportunity to try some traditional Nicaraguan street food. So when you're traveling to Nicaragua, or maybe you're looking at moving there, a lot of times people wonder, can I get the normal brands of everything that I get here in Canada or the US? And no, you can't. Or I shouldn't say that. You can, but for a price. So for the most part, you're going to be experiencing their culture, their food, different brands, which we think is really part of the fun of it. We love going to grocery stores and markets and finding new things and giving them a try. But if you are somebody who maybe misses home a little bit and is really looking for some of those comforts from home, they are available. You're just going to pay a little bit more for them, and you may need to travel around, source them out. In San Juan del Sur, there's the Michelina Sanchez stores that often have some imported goods. And then if you're in Rivas or Managua, or bigger supermarkets in Granada as well, you would be able to go to the larger supermercados and find all of those items.
Peanut butter, that's kind of a North American thing. The peanut butter is not a popular thing down there. It's only popular by the North Americans. Other things that are hard to find is like hard cheese or any specialty items like almond milk or almond flour or like just specialty flours.
Yeah, even things like the normal brand or the North American brands of potato chips and chocolate bars, those would be all different. So you can find some of the North American brands in those specialty shops, but you're going to pay more than you would for the local brand of snack foods. And then convenience foods, things like frozen pizza, microwave dinners, chicken nuggets, those kinds of things are not really common there. They do have them at the bigger supermarkets, but you're definitely going to pay a pretty price to get that kind of food, as opposed to shopping local, cooking from scratch, making it yourself.
Yeah, we found that we swapped out our potato chips for plantain chips, and it was a good switch. They're really popular down there.
Yeah, very tasty with some refried beans.
Yeah. A lot of people ask about the healthcare in Nicaragua. It's not as good as Costa Rica, we will admit, but it is cheaper. There is emergency service available to all. It's free. If you want to go and book an appointment for a dentist or a routine checkup of some sort, the fees are relatively low. Medications are quite cheap.
The price that you're going to pay for any medications typically is cheaper than what you would pay after your insurance back home. So it is very affordable. And like Chris said, it is free healthcare emergency service, and that's for tourists and locals. So if you are traveling and maybe you're not bringing travel insurance with you, if you did have an emergency, that would be covered. So that's just something to keep in mind. You may still want to get travel medical insurance if you're coming for the short term, but know that is covered. And there is a lot of medical tourism starting in Nicaragua, very similar to what's already happening in Costa Rica. So you might decide when you come down for a visit to Nicaragua, that's a time to get your root canal or your knee surgery, something like that, that is going to be really expensive in Canada or the US, and also have a really, really long wait time in Canada and the US. You'd be able to get in within the week for a knee surgery or a root canal in Nicaragua. So something to think about your next vacation.
And it's good, high quality care that you receive in Nicaragua.
Yeah, the standard of care is American standard of care. Really, they have some great hospitals and great doctors there.
So hopefully you find the information on this video to be useful while traveling in Nicaragua.
Yeah, experiencing a new culture is always fun and always an adventure, but it's nice to have a little bit of a heads up heading into it.
So make sure that you like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.
We'd love to hear your travel tips or great information that you have about Nicaragua or anywhere else in Central America.
So I'm Chris.
And I'm Tova, and we'll see you on the next adventure.